Okay, it's 2:30. Let's go ahead and get started here. Good afternoon. My name is Ryan Wheeler. Thank you for joining us in this IAC Acoustics webinar. Today's topic is Continuline. I'm the Commercial Industrial Sales Manager here at IAC Acoustics. My contact information is here on the screen and will be displayed at the end of the presentation. Please feel free to type in any questions or send them to me in an email directly, either way. The topics that we'll be going over in today's presentation are IAC Acoustics company history information, acoustic screen configurations, barrier wall products and characteristics, support structures, and application examples. A big part of what we're going to talk about today is the difference between the standard FS or freestanding panel and the Continuline panel. IAC Acoustics was founded in 1949 by a man named Martin Hirshhorn. Mr. Hirshhorn started on Jackson Avenue in the Bronx and worked his way up to Commerce Ave, where he built his acoustic laboratory. He sold his business in 1998, but remained the CEO until 2001. Today, our parent company is Catalyst Acoustic Group, which is a parent company to a number of sound control companies. The director of IAC is Thomas Hines. He started working with IAC back in 2001. I'm the Commercial Industrial Sales Manager. I'm relatively new here at IAC. I spent 14 years in the military and most recently spent just under 10 years as a site lead and operations manager for a private defense contractor in Afghanistan. Ted Marquis is the industrial sales manager with over 20 years of industry experience and manages mostly in-plant noise control products. Darren Riley is our HVAC product sales manager, and Kalina Winter is our industrial sales associate and assists with commercial estimating for the entire industrial group. IAC Acoustics Noishield outdoor barrier systems shield people from loud equipment and transportation systems by forming a screen that blocks and absorbs sound energy. The noise source can be electrical equipment such as a transformer, rooftop or ground-mounted HVAC equipment, or transportation systems such as highways or railways. This slide shows that our performance for transmission loss varies from STC 30 up to STC 33, and our NRC, which is the noise reduction coefficient, varies from 1 to 1.05. All IAC FS barrier wall panels are made of roll-formed components, button punched together, which means that there are no welds. This is important because it's important to the longevity of your application. Regardless of how well you finish steel after welding, it's going to rust. If it's welded, it's just going to rust. So you can see that our panels are made up of 2.5 inch thick roll-formed sections, which consists of 2.5 inch thick solid side and a 2.5 inch thick perforated side, which together make up the 5 inch thick panel. Something important to note is that the steel on the perf side is margined so that it sheds water. You can see that there's a 2.5 inch hard and a 2.5 inch perf side that make up the 5 inch panel. It's important to note that the perf side has the margin that sheds water. You can see the margin here on both the 18 inch and the 24 inch panels. On the perf side, you can see how there's just dots on the left of each of those panels, and that allows the water to run off the top and down the face to prevent saturating the panel. You can also see that the perf runs all the way through the bottom so that in the event water does get inside the panel, it will drain out. The Noishield FS is the freestanding panel. It is 5 inches thick. The Continuline is actually the same panel with a different end cap detail that allows us to wrap the column so that there are no exposed structural elements in the project. The SFS is a 5 inch thick panel with a steel septum in the middle and absorption on both sides. The FST is a 5 inch thick panel with a low frequency enhancement with more mass on the inside. The slimline panel is not freestanding. It actually surface mounts onto structural elements. All these panels are available in either steel or aluminum. I mentioned the roll forming earlier. We do that for a few reasons, one of which is to prevent oil canning. Um, Oil canning is the appearance of some distortion when looking at the reflection of light off of the surface. We also have the weather shedding design, which prevents water from penetrating the panel. And in the event that some water does make its way inside the panel, it is able to drain from the bottom. We use G90 steel, which is unique to IAC, and we actually pre-paint the G90 after it is button punched, but before we put the fill in. This allows us to put paint on all surfaces prior to filling the panel. Other manufacturers might have a great panel, but they assemble the panel first and then paint the outside, which means that the inside of the panel isn't protected and will start to rust sooner. Our color selection is vast. We can match any color. It may affect lead time and cost slightly, but we can match all colors and provide any standard RAL colors. The double roll formed components provide really good structure, allowing us to go up to greater lengths. We can go up to 20 feet long, provided the weather or structural components won't be a concern. So again, the FS panel is the 5-inch thick roll formed panel. We use the G90, no welding, in order to prevent rusting. The upper surface shed water and the perforated lower surface expels any water, and it has excellent structural capabilities and wind resistance. Again, it's available in steel or aluminum and in any paint color. Here you can see an example of a standard FS panel and a rooftop barrier system. The bottom right picture shows the structural beams, and we simply slide the panels down inside the web of the structural steel. It's not a bad appearance, but sometimes the customers want something more aesthetically pleasing. So in those cases, we go to the Continuline panel. The Continuline panel is the same panel, but we swap out or we add an end cap, and we're able to wrap the structural steel so that there's no exposed structural elements. This is the first project we used the Continuline panel on. The customer had a beautiful building, but they had some noisy equipment on the rooftop. So I looked at our product and they said that they wanted something with less exposed steel so that it would better match the appearance of the rest of the building. As you can see, the barrier walls on top of the building here, and aesthetically it matches the rest of the building. This is a different view of the same rooftop barrier where we've concealed all of the structural elements. We have the door integrated with lighting and other electrical components on the outside of the enclosure. This picture shows how the slotted end cap wraps the structural element, which allows the solid front face of the panel to conceal the column. This picture displays the view of the perforated side of the panel on the inside of the enclosure. You can see the slotted end caps here and the nice snug fit to ensure that we don't lose any transmission loss. Often penetrations are needed. This can be achieved by using panels or steel flashing that IAC can pre-cut before powder to ensure no lack of aesthetic performance. It can also be cut in the field. IAC can use the Continuline with other products such as Slimline to accommodate challenging details during retrofits. Let me go back to this slide that we were just on. So this is an example of a situation where we might use two different types of panels. If you look at the two sections on the right, there's plenty of room to slide those panels in from the top. But that one section on the left, there's an overhang. So if we had to use a Slimline panel to, mount to the front of the structural steel, we'd be able to slide it in underneath that rooftop. And this whole wall is actually Slimline, but this is just an example of a situation where we might use two different types of panels. IC scope on barrier wall project has a wide range. We can supply just the panels and components. We can supply the structural support. We can supply the anchor bolts and cages, keys, stamps, and designs. We can also provide delivery and installation. The primary applications, whether they're ground mounted or rooftop mounted, are HVAC equipment, machinery, transformers, pumps, valves, and generators. This slide shows two examples, one ground mounted and one rooftop mounted. For rooftop applications, HVAC equipment is very common. Oftentimes, you're able to have an open access as opposed to having doors, as seen in the top right-hand picture, but sometimes you may need an APR door as seen in the bottom left, which we can provide. This is an example of a project done for a transformer substation. This customer didn't want any structural elements going to the ground. They had existing walls, so we actually cantilevered the entire system off of the face. This example is not a Continuline product, but it's a standard FS product. We just wanted to show you the capabilities. When there's unique complexities, we're able to assist with the engineering from start to finish. These are some more examples of ground-mounted applications. We have highways, railways, rail yards, airports. This is an example of a light rail transportation system in Pasadena, California. You can see the solid side, which would be towards the receiver, as if it was a sidewalk or a bike path, and then the perforated side facing the noise source. This application, we actually used a special powder coat with an anti-graffiti additive. I want to thank everybody for attending the Continuline webinar. I know your time is valuable, and we hope that you can attend future webinars. If you'd like a copy of this presentation or would like to discuss any project or product, please contact me at your convenience. Thank you.